the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Tonight, an investigation is underway in Bloomington after two minority organizations at IU say they were racially targeted. Thanks for joining us for WRTV News at 11. I'm Nicole Griffin. The incident happened over a Zoom call as the organizations were trying to recruit new members. WRTV's Troy Washington explains what went wrong and what the university is doing to address the concerns.
I was like, do you see these comments, what they're saying?
NAACP members couldn't believe their eyes or ears as they watched and listened during a Zoom meeting.
It just really sucked for both of our orgs because we were just trying to get our name out there and just tell the incoming freshmen, like, you know what our org is about, and we couldn't even do that.
Janae Coleman is a junior at IU Bloomington. She's also the NAACP secretary.
And not only did it happen to NAACP, but it happened to another Black organization as well called Campus Quarrels and Coils.
By it, she means students mocking the Black Lives Matter movement. WRTV has blurred the comments because they aren't appropriate for broadcast. We also can't let you hear the recordings now circulating on Twitter of people making fun of the words, "I can't breathe," one of the last statements George Floyd made before dying.
We did have some students that did want to learn about NAACP, but they felt uncomfortable as well, so they start leaving the Zoom call on their own. But with everything going on now, I do feel like that was like another reason why people felt comfortable just coming into our Zoom meetings about it. And I kind of felt like they didn't think we were really going to do anything about it, like report it to the school.
But both organizations say they aren't letting this go. In fact, the university says they aren't taking it lightly either.
I just wanted the people that did do this just to know that they didn't hurt our org. If anything, they made us stronger and want us to continue to go harder and everything. But IU is working on it right now, and it's going to get handled.
Working for you in Bloomington, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. In a statement posted to Twitter, the university's superintendent for public safety says this racist, aggressive action through Zoom is unacceptable. University police and the university's information technology service are now trying to identify the people who were involved. New at 11, IMPD homicide detectives are investigating a deadly shooting on the north side. Just after 7 o'clock tonight, police were called to West 30th Street and North Capitol Avenue on reports of a person shot. IMPD says officers found an adult male suffering from at least one gunshot wound. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police haven't released additional information about this case. Earlier this month, on August 4th, there was another deadly shooting in this same area. A man was found shot to death inside his vehicle. On the east side now, detectives are trying to figure out what led up to a deadly shooting early this morning. IMPD says officers responded to East Washington Street near North Kitley Avenue around 5 a.m. Police say one person was shot here at this location. At last check, police say that victim is in serious condition. No other details have been released by IMPD about what led up to this shooting. As always, if you have any information, contact Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. Now to your forecast, taking a live look outside tonight as we wrap up a beautiful weekend here, looking across downtown Indianapolis tonight. Meteorologist Kyle Mount standing by, and Kyle walking in, had a little sweatshirt on, and it feels just perfect outside tonight.
Little taste of fall in the air out there, but we are going to get back into summer here as we go into the week ahead. Temperatures today topping out in the middle to upper 70s, and right now we sit in the upper 60s downtown with a light east wind for us and just a few clouds across central Indiana. We also find those temperatures ranging from around 63 in Tipton to 68 degrees right now in Columbus and Bedford. Overnight tonight, we'll start to see those temperatures sliding back some locations back into the 50s. You notice, though, the rain that's south of the Ohio River into Kentucky. As we go into tomorrow morning, can't rule out a couple of those showers, though, sneaking in around Columbus, Greensburg, Connorsville. For the rest of us, it will be a dry start to the day with those clouds around. Temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll take you through the rest of your Monday in just a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. New at 11 tonight, the IPL building on Monument Circle is lit up purple for Overdose Awareness Day on Monday. It's a day to acknowledge the grief felt by families and friends who have lost loved ones from a drug overdose. Overdose Awareness Day also spreads the message that the tragedy of an overdose death is preventable. Tonight, lives lost due to an overdose were honored and remembered at the Indiana State Museum. Overdose Lifeline hosted the event, and organizers say they wanted to give grieving friends and family members a place to be together and not feel so alone. We talked to a couple who lost their 25-year-old son in June of last year to substance use disorder. A month later, their sister-in-law also lost her life to substance use disorder. They say they hope to help other families prevent a similar tragedy from happening.
Erasing the stigma, it never meant as much as it has to us since we've experienced our loss, and now it's become more prevalent to ourselves, seeing how society has stigmatized mental illness and substance abuse now for many, many years, and we're slowly starting to see that be erased, but there's still a lot of work to do, right?
By families not discussing it, they're implying that there's something wrong, there's a flaw, a character flaw with their loved ones, when in fact, addiction and or mental illness, it's a disease.
Right.
It's a brain issue, and we were proud of our son.
Yeah.
He tried very hard, and we're proud of everybody that fights this battle. With this, there's often no care plan. With other diseases, there is a care plan.
A naloxone training session was held at tonight's event. Organizers say it's especially important during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the state's Next Level Recovery Report, there's been a 60% increase in naloxone administration by EMS so far this year compared to last year, largely because of the pandemic. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports 6 more deaths. 3,072 Hoosiers have now died from COVID-19. More than 93,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 1 million people have been tested in Indiana, with 8.7% testing positive. From Notre Dame to West Lafayette to Bloomington, plans to contain COVID-19 on college campuses across Indiana are already being put to the test. Now in Muncie, Ball State is sounding the alarm. As of tonight, a total of 500 students have tested positive. That's 128 more cases since Friday, when the university's president said if things don't change, he may temporarily suspend all on-campus courses or switch to remote learning for the rest of the semester. WRTV's Cornelius Hocker has this story tonight from Ball State.
These students are trying to get an education during a pandemic. Most of them are doing what they can to cut down on the spread of coronavirus, but the ones who aren't could be the reason in-person classes get canceled.
I live right off campus, and I have heard, people's music playing pretty loudly. I've seen crowds, people walking about.
Matthias Miles is a senior who tells me he hopes he can finish out his last year of school in person, but he isn't fooling himself.
I think, and I know a bunch of other people who are basically thinking along the lines of it's only a matter of time.
Ball State University President Jeffrey Mearns says the increase in cases are coming from, in his words, poor personal choices some students are making primarily off campus. What students decide to do over the weekend will determine if Ball State can continue on-campus classes. The university is reminding students to wear masks, keep 6 feet apart from each other, and avoid all large gatherings. Matthias has seen students doing all of that for the most part.
I would say it's like a 75-25 split. I'd say for the most part, most of the students are taking this pretty seriously. They're going out masked, and I don't see anyone taking it off. They're using the hand sanitizers that are throughout the campus.
But for everyone doing what's right,
I actually had a friend of mine who said he was just driving through campus, and just on his drive, in his 3-minute drive, he counted 27 people without a mask on walking around campus.
College students learning a tough lesson on personal responsibility during this pandemic. Working for you in Muncie, Cornelius Hocker, WRTV.
President Mearns also said in his statement that Ball State is taking disciplinary action against several students and 3 fraternities for failing to comply with safety guidelines and putting others at risk. Starting tomorrow, IPS will have even more student support network sites open to help with remote learning. IPS has begun the school year with 100% remote learning for all district students. The hope is that kids will be able to return to in-person learning by October 2nd. The support sites offer a safe and structured place for IPS students to attend when families need a supervised environment for their children during remote learning. On Monday, the YMCA will open a student support site at Carl Wild School 79 on West 34th Street. And the organization At Your School will open up support centers at Robert Lee Frost School 106 on Roxbury Road and Broad Ripple High School on Broad Ripple Avenue. IPS parents and guardians will need to register their students in advance and arrange for transportation to and from the Student Support Network site they attend. More than 120 employees are being impacted by the closing of 2 Howard County health facilities in the midst of the pandemic. This is the final day of operations for Replay Physical Therapy Clinic and Community Howard Specialty Hospital. Community Health Network says it's because of the changing landscape of healthcare. But WRTV Investigates found that the layoffs and closures are happening even though the healthcare system got more than $200 million in federal stimulus money. Community Health Network issued this statement to WRTV. It says, quote, "We worked closely with impacted employees to match as many as possible to other openings within community. We have made every attempt to ensure that patients have a smooth transition to other quality care options within the community," end quote. This week, the 2 candidates for president are preparing to tackle one of the most divisive issues in our nation right now. Their take on the current protests against racial inequality next on the News at 11.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Protests in Portland, Oregon turned violent overnight while confrontations between demonstrators demanding racial equality and Trump supporters continue in cities throughout the U.S. This is the president and Democratic nominee Joe Biden plan to address the growing tensions. ABC's Megan Tevrizian is in San Diego now with the very latest.
Overnight, more protests igniting around the country, from Oakland, California, to Portland, Oregon, where one man was shot and killed, though police haven't said whether it was connected to the clashes between Trump supporters and demonstrators demanding racial equality. The sometimes violent protests in Portland going on for more than 90 days. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, hundreds marching through the streets in peaceful protests, 1 week after police shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back, leaving him paralyzed. The hostility between protests and counter-protesters turning political. This morning, President Trump liking a tweet thread that starts with, "Kyle Rittenhouse is a good example of why I decided to vote for Trump." Rittenhouse is a teenager facing homicide charges for allegedly killing 2 protesters and injuring another during protests in Kenosha last week. Rittenhouse's attorney arguing his client had no choice but to fire multiple rounds towards his immediate attackers because he feared for his life. This morning, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf saying the violence across U.S. cities needs to stop.
If you're going to protest, First Amendment right, please do that peacefully. Once you cross the line to violence, that is what's concerning to the Department of Homeland Security. That's what I'm focused on, making sure that we bring any type of violence in any of our cities to a close.
Also this morning, a member of Biden's campaign staff, Kate Bedingfield, saying Biden will be out this week addressing the ongoing arrest, but not getting into details on how.
You will absolutely hear Joe Biden out this week addressing this moment in the country. We will have details to share on the location shortly.
President Trump planning to visit Kenosha on Tuesday to meet with law enforcement and survey the damage. It's unclear if he plans to visit Jacob Blake or his family. Megan Tevrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
A nice night across central Indiana as we wrap up what was a pretty good weather weekend here. We've got temperatures right now still close to 70 downtown. You're in the middle 60s in Lafayette and already the lower 60s in Bloomington with mostly clear skies. But I think we'll start to see a few of those clouds building in, and that'll hold your temperatures fairly steady here. Still looks like areas north of I-70, though, will dip back into the 50s, even 56 degrees around Peru, Logansport, and Kokomo heading into your Monday morning. And your hour-by-hour forecast shows a mix of sun and clouds that will be out there tomorrow. Not too much of a breeze either. That temperature, middle 70s for the lunch hour, and then we'll get upper 70s to lower 80s. I think it'll be a couple degrees warmer tomorrow, and also a little more on the humid side. You'll notice that especially as we go into the afternoon. Looking at TrueCast, overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and you see that increase in the cloud cover. But again, it's areas southeast of Indianapolis, I think, where we could see a few of those rain showers. Shouldn't really slow you down too much for the morning commute. And then as we go into the afternoon hours, we'll start to see those clouds filtering a little further to the north. But I think the rest of us will be dry here as we go through our Monday. 82 for your high in Danville, 82 in Rushville, and 82 in Columbus. So a pretty popular number tomorrow. Again, might feel just a degree or two warmer here as we're going to have a little more of that humidity. And then by Tuesday, the highs are back into the middle 80s for us, a little above average for this time of year. Mostly cloudy skies there, and the chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go into the evening hours especially. And for Tuesday, there is a marginal risk across much of central Indiana that some of those storms could have some gusty winds. I think that would be the main issue. Could have some heavy rainfall and certainly some lightning with those as well. But the rain chances Monday and Tuesday are fairly low here. I think the best chance for some more widespread rain will come by the middle of the week. So that's when you're most likely to need that umbrella here, because on Monday, I think it's going to be pretty much confined to southeastern locations. Then on Tuesday, it's pretty late in the day for us. The extended forecast, as we start to put things together here, there's the gradual warming of our temperatures, not only in the afternoon, but the overnights as well. Middle 60s by Tuesday morning, 85 for that afternoon high. And then we'll have those scattered storms on Wednesday. That'll kind of curb those high temperatures back to around 81 degrees. We jump up a little bit here going into Thursday. Still a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. We're waiting on that cold front to move through. Once it does so, it'll take the rain chances. It's also going to take the warmth and the humidity. By Friday, a nice end of the week here, 78. And next weekend right now, not looking too bad either, with highs in the lower 80s.
And I'm Dave First. We've been watching the Weldons in racing for some time. Now it's the watch part that has Sebastian and Oliver helping with their dad's legacy. Coming up in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
There's still talk about last Sunday's Indianapolis 500, namely from the Weldon family on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's been nearly 9 years since Dan Weldon lost his life during a race in Las Vegas, but his wife and children are making sure the legacy continues. Sports director Dave First with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
It was a battle between Takuma Sato and Scott Dixon, watched by fans around the world, including the Weldons, Dan's wife Susie, and two sons.
Guys, did you watch the Indy 500 the other day?
Yes.
What did you think?
I wish Scott won.
You wish Scott won?
Takuma Sato's a fast driver, so he kind of deserves it.
And from their Florida home, if anyone knows about fast driving, it's 9-year-old Oliver and 11-year-old Sebastian.
Guys, grab your favorite trophy.
SCUSA. It was SCUSA, Winter Series. Sebastian has one too, because, you know, we're not going to be outdone by our little brother.
No, exactly.
See, but here we go. He's in a harder class.
Both have been karting for years now and improving every step of the way. And now this?
Sebastian, Oliver, how cool is it that you guys have a line of watches, for crying out loud?
Very grateful for those.
It's thanks to Dan's old partnership with watchmaker Ritmo Mundo, with each of his sons designing them themselves. For Oliver,
I did orange and purple because they're both on my helmet.
And Sebastian,
I think I did blue and pink
Yeah? Why was that?
because of my racing cart.
sold on the manufacturer website, with proceeds going to the Dan Weldon Foundation and the Alzheimer's Association, something close to the whole family.
That's a special part of Dan's legacy. You know, there's, you know, obviously the boys are the biggest part of his legacy and what they're even, you know, outside of racing. But he started to do some work with Alzheimer's Association right before he passed. And I know that was really important to him. And so, you know, it's super important to me, and just to be able to give back and to be able to show everybody how appreciative we are, the boys and I as a family, just for the support that we received.
There's no question racing remains with the Weldons.
I got this one in Vegas.
And as the trophy room fills up, so do their dreams.
What's the next step?
I want to go to F1 and then IndyCar.
F1?
We're shooting high, Dave. We're shooting high. We're doing both. We're doing both.
And if anyone can, it's the Weldons, carrying on Dan's legacy in many ways. Dave First, WRTV Sports.
Today, more than 100 motorcyclists hit the streets for a ride to benefit an organization that saves pit bulls. The ride started at the Indianapolis South Side Harley-Davidson location. All money raised goes directly to Lucci's House Bully Rescue. When we caught up with the ride, though, in New Whiteland, there was an accident. The organizers say a woman on her motorcycle who was a blocker blocking traffic for the group was hit by a car. They say she is expected to be okay, but despite the somber ending to the ride, those we spoke to say it's important to do what they can to raise money.
Well, you got to keep doing it. Because you love the dogs and you hate people that mistreat them and they need help.
All of the money raised will be used for vet bills for the dogs Lucci's House saves. A legendary Chicago pizzeria is getting ready to open its first Indiana location and needs to hire Hoosiers to make and deliver its deep dish pizzas and more. Lou Malnati's Pizzeria is set to open in Carmel in October at 11435 Spring Mill Road. They are looking to hire 50 people to serve as kitchen, phone, staff, and delivery drivers. They're hosting 2 hiring events this coming week. They will be held at Tuesday and Thursday, September 1st and 3rd from noon to 6 each day at 2902 West 86th Street, Suite 110, right next to Pier 1. If you can't make it out, you can apply online. We do have information in this story at hiringhoosiers.com. And by the way, we have learned the pizzeria is planning a second Indiana location in Broad Ripple sometime in 2021. A dog food has been voluntarily recalled due to concerns of Salmonella contamination. The recall affects Nature's Menu super premium dog food with a blend of real chicken and quail. It comes after a sample of the product was collected in Georgia and tested positive for Salmonella. There are no reports of pets getting sick. The recalled product comes in 3 and 13.5 pound bags and was sold in stores nationwide. If you have some at your house, check the product's lot code at the FDA.gov to see if yours is included in this recall. You can return the unused portion to the store you bought it from for a full refund. I'm sure you've heard this before. There's an app for that. Well, now there's an app to help you keep track of any recalls on your car. It comes from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's called Safer Car and works by entering your vehicle's VIN number. It also applies to car seats, trailers, and tires. You will get an alert when there is a recall that's relevant to you. The app is free to use. The thought of flying cars is one step closer to becoming a reality. Japanese company SkyDrive carried out a successful test of their flying car model with a person on board. The flying car hovered a few feet off the ground for about 4 minutes. The company says the car can only fly for 5 to 10 minutes and right now says their goal is 30 minutes to increase its potential. SkyDrive hopes to have a model available by 2023. And it sounds like science fiction, but millions of little robots could someday move within the body to help battle disease or help repair injuries. Researchers say the little robots could be injected into the body and be controlled by laser technology. They now want to create sophisticated circuitry to allow the robots to move according to changes within the body. Astronomers found a galaxy that is truly far, far away, and it looks like it is straight out of Star Wars. The galaxy was discovered several years ago and is 500 million light years away. It has the shape of Darth Vader's the fighter from Star Wars, and this effect comes from spinning jets of energy combined with dust and gas. Astronomers say the massive black hole at the center of the galaxy is 1 billion times larger than the sun. How interesting.
Pretty amazing the stuff we can see. I can see the resemblance there too with Darth Vader. Chip or okay. All right, the 7-day planning forecast. We got 82 for your high on Monday. Then we'll gradually increase those rain chances.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Have a great night.